18, you tap in, Hayden, everyone's there. Will you ever be able to describe that moment, all you've been through over your family's been through over the last 3 years? Is there words to describe what? I mean, it's mixed feelings, obviously.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely mixed feelings. It's definitely, there's a missing piece. Um, there's, uh, but to have Emma and Annie, my dad, and Michael, my caddy, to have them there, and to be able to give them a hug. And it was cool with my dad, walking off and giving him a high five and a hug. Like, we've been the amount that they've sacrificed and the time that they've put, my parents have put in junior golf and high school and amateur golf. My dad's caddied for me hundreds of times and all of that. So it was pretty cool to have that experience with him and to share that hug afterwards. And of course with Emma and with Annie right off the green, like it's so special to have them because Emma has sacrificed a lot too, in these last few years. And it definitely, I don't really have any words. Like I don't have any way to describe it, any special way to describe it other, it is such a crazy kind of feeling and year with all that's happened. And but we're so blessed and fortunate, and we've had amazing support around us and a great community of people around us, which has been really awesome. And I don't really know how to describe it. Like it is, um, it's a weird thing. It's just weird to kind of contrast those two feelings with Sage's passing, and then also achieving, something I've been working so hard for and been wanting to do for a really long time. Um, but all I can say is it's a huge blessing. And there's nothing more than that I want than to be able to share all of these new experience and all of this stuff with Sage. To have our family complete and to do all of this together. But at the end of the day, she she is in heaven and rejoicing and no longer, um, you know, dealing with the world, the things of this world. And yeah, all of this stuff is amazing and achieving this is amazing. But there's much more to life, and a lot of, things that matter. I'm going to say matter more than golf, that are more important than golf. And so we're very, very blessed and fortunate, and it was exciting to get to kind of spend, those moments with Emma and Annie and my dad and everybody right after the round, and go to dinner, and then to see my mom back at home, and all of that stuff. It was awesome.
Emma, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
All right. Um, we'll get to Emma. Emma Hayden's wife Emma has joined us, but I think obviously the tragic passing of Sage, but I think Emma does a great job of keeping everybody updated on social media. But I think the casual golf fan, to both of you, has not realized the trials and tribulations leading up to all of this, right? Like there wasn't often. Hayden and I text every once in a while. There was at least 2 or 3 times where you were in the hospital with Sage and then leaving for a tournament or not sure what the next tournament was going to be. So Hayden, it's just been like it's been a it's been a sacrifice for everyone. Obviously, Emma has been there for a long time. You guys have overcome so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, like, just 3 or 4 years ago, I don't think we could have ever imagined kind of this journey that we've been on. the sacrifices that maybe we've had to make. And, but fortunately, Emma and I share a strong faith and the same values. And we've been, from Sage's diagnosis to her life, to now, we've always just wanted to give her, Sage, to maximize her life and to let her lead the way and to give her, as much opportunity to express herself and to live the fullest life possible. And now I think moving forward, we want to be able to continue to do that for future families and, just kind of show the possibilities within trisomy and to show that it's compatible with life. Um, and we would not be here. I know that I would not be here, um, you know, doing this right now, having a PGA Tour card, none of that, without Emma, without my parents, without her parents, and the people supporting us. Emma and my mom specifically have put in so many hours and late nights and early mornings and all of that stuff to care for Sage and to make it possible for me to be on the road and chasing Mondays and mini tours and all that stuff. And so it's very special just kind of looking back at all of that stuff that has gone on in the last few years to now kind of looking forward to the opportunities that the PGA Tour presents. And and then also just getting to be at that pinnacle of golf and do what I've dreamed of doing since I was 6, 7, 8 years old. And so it's very special. And I can't thank Emma, our parents, and just the community that we've had around us enough to, because I know that I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for all of them.
Emma, obviously, it's been a trying 3 years and in the last month. Does the fact that you have a bigger platform now to talk about the things that you have been so passionate about for 3 years, is that obviously it's hard to look at positives, but the fact that you have a bigger platform to talk about your life and trisomy 18 and your faith, is that something you take a little solace in this over this last time?
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing that can make it better. There's nothing that can make the grief go away, but there are things that we can find joy in and find comfort in. And I think knowing that we will be able to carry on her legacy, and even more so, with a bigger platform, and to talk about other kids like her. And I've spent the last 3.5 years advocating for her and other kids like her, and it makes me feel good, and it feels like it's part of her legacy to do that for other kids too. And Hayden and I, this was a dream of his from the time that we met 8 years ago. And so of course, before we were married or even engaged, we would daydream about the future and all of those things. And we always have kind of had the mindset that, to whom much is given, much is required. Like, we've always felt like when we have a platform, we want to be able to do something charitable or to give back. Like, we've always felt like that's something that people who are given platforms and a lot of resources should do. And at that time, we didn't have a cause that was really personal to us or anything like that. And so seeing that kind of seed of a dream then kind of start to play out now with something that is so personal to us and means so much to us. It's all really meaningful to us, and it does bring us some solace for sure.
I'll ask you, Emma, the same question I asked Hayden, and I know it's probably impossible to put into words. Hayden makes the final putt to get a PGA Tour card. It has to be absolutely just the culmination of the most mixed feelings ever. Can you describe that moment?
Well, I feel like even more so than that moment where he tapped it in, it's kind of like really kind of like the last hole, the last couple of holes. I didn't want to take Annie out there too much because, 1-year-olds are kind kind of wild cards. You never really know exactly how they're going to be in any given minute. And I didn't want her disrupting anybody. So we went out and caught them on 17, and getting out there and, seeing that he's in a good position to finish it within the top 5, it was like, oh my gosh, my heart couldn't have been racing any faster. And I really wasn't nervous. I've told everybody I felt so peaceful and so, like just a peace about whatever happened that week. But I was so excited. Like you don't want to get ahead of yourself too much. The first day when he's T3, and then, the next day where he's still in the top 5, and the next round where he's still in the top 5. You don't want to get too ahead of yourself because so much can change in one round of golf or even 9 holes of golf. But whenever you get there and there's like a hole and a half left to play and it's within reach, oh my gosh, it was like, it's just, I don't even really know how to describe that feeling. And then to get to the last hole, I saw his caddy kind of realize it. He looked at the leaderboard and looked at somebody next to him, and he had, like a foot putt to tap in, and he looked to somebody and said, like, we have 2 putts from, right here. And they were like, yeah. And it's like I saw him realize it and start wiping his eyes. And it's one of those things where it's not just about me and it's not just about Hayden. It's like this whole collective. It's Hayden's dream, but we've all been dreaming about it together. And so it's like everybody's dreams being actualized, in that moment. And then the only way that I can describe kind of the mix of joy and grief is that one magnifies the other. It's like you feel this overwhelming sense of joy, and it makes you more sad that she's not here to be a part of that. And because of how much grief we've experienced, it makes the joy feel even sweeter. Like one just is like volumizing the other one times 10. And so it's like you're feeling the fullness of both emotions at the same time. And it's like kind of just leaves you speechless and like kind of in shock almost. Like I feel like we're just now kind of like settling into like, oh, this is real. This is reality. This is like our plans in 2 weeks, like this is, yeah, I feel like that kind of shock and surreal factor is sort of still wearing off, but it's just, I don't even know if that really answers the question, but it's just the fullness of the joy and the grief at the same time, and both one just being so magnetized, what is the word?
Yeah.
Magnified. Magnified is the word I'm looking for by the other.
Well, first of all, who's going to Sony? Is everybody going, Hayden?
Yeah, we're gonna have everybody. It's still
right.
it's still gonna be close if we get in, but in our category. But yeah, right now we're planning on everybody going.
I got good news, Hayden. That Monday is probably, there's no such thing as an easy Monday, but the easiest Monday because it's so expensive to get to that
Right.
a lot of players don't go. So if you have to go to the Monday, the good news is, and you've had a pretty good, you play well on Monday. So the good news is it's the easiest in quotations because, as you know, it's better than I do. It's still a crapshoot to get in. Emma, Hayden, Sage, Annie, you guys, I can't tell you enough how big a fan I am of you guys. You're told in media growing up that you're not supposed to cheer for people, but that's a bunch of bullshit. And cheering like crazy for you guys. Might as well go win the Sony. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for always supporting our family. It's meant a lot to us.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I can echo that as well. I mean, you're definitely doing great stuff and have supported us so well, and so I'm a big fan of you, and I love what you do. So we're very grateful to know you and to be able to share this time with you. But yeah, hopefully it'll be a good next year, and maybe we'll get into Sony one way or another.
Yeah, once you win, though,
so.
like you guys understand that the relationship ends when you win on the PGA Tour, right? It's not what I cover. So, like, we'll just have to forget that we knew each other. Annie, come here. That's the end of the podcast. I'm going to have you meet our Annie. We have an Annie.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold
That's
on.
great.
Annie.